Welcome to College Football Monday, a Sons of Saturday live show brought to you by Jack and Coke. I'm your host, Pete B. I've got my co-host, Sam Jesse here. And College Football Monday comes to you each and every week to get you updated on what happened around college football the past weekend, along with a heavy dose of what the Hokies were up to. In this episode, we're going to recap everything that happened in Week 10, what went down in Blacksburg against Louisville. It was another beautiful day in our town, but they came up a little short. We'll do stock up, stock down, and we'll get to our playoff teams. Sam, why don't you give us a cheers? Kick this thing off.
Well, I will give a very special cheers, not only to our listeners and the Tech fans and all of that, but I do feel like the last few weeks, the fan support that we have seen on our channels and what we've seen in Lane Stadium has been terrific, especially for a program that is as much in flux as the Hokies are. And I know we're tipping off basketball tonight as well. And I just wanted to give a special shout out to all of our listeners, the Hokie listeners and the non-Hokie listeners. Thank you so much. It has been a weird season for us. I think it's been very much a roller coaster, and we've had a lot of content to talk about that I don't think we would expect to talk about. But the interaction from the fans has, I think, I don't want to speak for you, Pete, but it's blown me away. And I think us as a brand, it has blown us away. So we want to give a special thank you to the listeners and the supporters of Too Deep, of Sons of Saturday, of College Football Mondays, of Hokie Hoops, whatever it may be. Thank you.
Cheers.
And I'm sorry, because I know people have come up to me and tell us that they love the beer reviews. I love the beer reviews too. I am going only water this week. I have a race on Sunday, so no alcohol this week. But I'll be back with a banger. How about I do some
Sam's
bangers next week?
Healthy mode right now. I've got a really good beer tonight. I was in the store earlier, tweeted out a couple pictures. We'll talk about that. If you have any questions, hop in the chat. There's already some commentary in our chat right now. Make sure to like the video, subscribe. And I know a lot of you might be here to hear about James Franklin, and we are going to talk about that. And we're on our march to 5,000 subscribers. So for all the latest updates on the coaching search, our opinions, what we're hearing, keep it locked here and subscribe to the channel. Week 10, Sam. This was what I would call the ACC oh no weekend, as you can see in the title of this video, because we had two top 10 teams in the ACC, and they both lost this past weekend. GT and Miami both go down. In the AP poll, there were no changes to the top 7. But just after that, there were changes because that's where the losses came. Also, we had Houston dropping out after the bad loss to WVU, something I was all over, and we talked about that one. Washington jumps in at number 24. Tennessee stays in the poll despite having 3 losses and 0 good wins. What's your opinion on that one?
At this point, there's nothing they can do to not be in the poll. Because anytime, if a team's 23, I'm going to imagine that somebody didn't include them. Mm-hmm. So that means people were putting them in the 2019 range. I think it's lazy. I think the AP poll is stupid. And, but Tennessee, congratulations. Hang the banner.
Listen, if nothing else, the AP poll is a historic evaluation of perception. And I think that warrants documentation.
I think there's a lot of people who cover specific programs in college football that maybe don't really watch or look into many games around the country, but they know brands that they hear about. I think that's a big part of it.
This is from Godfrey, who put up a couple comments before we got started. We don't have coastal chaos, but we have ACC chaos. Any more losses, and who knows who will be in the ACC championship game. Guessing this means only one ACC team will make the playoff. We'll do some commentary on that later, but it's kind of looking that way. Mm-hmm. It kind of is, because, as Godfrey hinted at, we don't know who's going to be in the ACC title game. So how are you supposed to project who's going to be in the playoff if you don't even know who's going to be in the game? As for the rankings, the highest ranked ACC team, Sam, this is painful. It is the Virginia Cavaliers at number 12. Louisville is number 14 after they beat us. They should probably be the highest ranked team, but UVA beat them, so you can't do that. GT drops to 16 after losing to NC State. Miami at number 18 after losing to SMU in Dallas. The ACC is just, it never gets out of its own way. It's always been like this. It always seems like it's going to be like this. And with Clemson continuing to flounder, we don't even have that that banner hanger anymore, or what would you call it? The one that carries the flag.
The flagship.
Yes, the flagship of the conference. We don't have it right now.
Yeah, and it feels like Miami had the opportunity for it, and in classic Miami fashion, they can't win games at this point in the season. It doesn't seem to matter the coach. It doesn't seem to matter the opponent. It's just like they turn off and they stop playing. And this was a game that they had so many opportunities to really just grab SMU by the balls here a few times, and they just didn't do it. Like, they kept making stupid mistakes. They were lethargic on offense. Their defense played great, I thought. It's like they lacked the killer instinct that we had seen them have all year. And SMU, whose defense has not been good all year long against any opponent, all of a sudden comes up and is able to make stops. And Carson Beck, dude, like, you got to stop throwing to the other team, man. Like, at this point, do you run you got to be running the ball like 75% of the time. I mean, he's not a quarterback you can win consistently with. He has lost them kind of single-handedly the last 2 games.
The 2 losses they have,
are kind of on him.
Yeah, and he kind of blamed other people for both of them in the post games.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that after the SMU game.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I mean, SMU was down 3. Miami had the ball with like under 3 minutes left. They couldn't run it out and close it. SMU goes down. They make a field goal after missing a previous field goal. They tie it. It goes to overtime. And right off the bat, you have that interception by Beck. And that was it. I mean, we knew SMU was probably going to get a field goal. They end up running in a touchdown and winning the game. But it's the second loss for Miami in 3 weeks. The only win was against Stanford, which, congratulations, you won and covered against Stanford on your home turf. But you go on the road outside the state of Florida was this the first time all year?
Time. This is the first time, yep.
And they lost.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, and we're going to get to the coaching stuff in 1 second, but Sam went right into Miami, so let's just do it now.
Yeah.
How do you expect us to believe that they're going to run the table now? Like, so
you can't,
because there's a world that they could go 10-2 and make the playoff because they have the Notre Dame win. What reasonable person thinks Miami's going to win out?
I mean, Pitt looks really good right now.
Pitt's looking good.
And then Virginia Tech,
we're feisty, man.
Dude, I wouldn't want to come play at Lane Stadium right now. Like, I don't know if Tech is a 3-6 team that you really want to play on the road late in the season right now. And this is the issue that we've had for Miami with years. But I look especially at this game, it's like their inability to come prepared to play even like 10 times out of the year. Like, it does feel like for the second half of the season, every single year, these guys just aren't prepared to play. I even saw videos of them getting off the team bus and they looked exhausted. I don't know what these guys are doing, but
you know what?
This seems to be almost systemic for Miami. And I don't know if the talent on the field is really going to change these results for them because I don't know how much more talented they can get.
It's systemic back to like 5 coaches prior.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back 20 years, Sam. This is not like we thought Mario, by just building up the lines of scrimmage and basically getting a talented juggernaut, that you can get to that 10-11 win mark. And maybe that'll be good enough to get you in the ACC title game. Then you can get there and bully someone around because he does have 2 Pac-12 titles. He's won 2 Pac-12 title games. Like, he's proven to be able to do that. But too often at Miami, as we've seen in the past, and now with him, they are so much more talented than their opponent. And in this case, financially committed more than almost any other opponent. And they can't close. They can't get it done. And it's not that Louisville and SMU are bad. I understand it's hard to go undefeated. It is. But like, when you've already beaten Notre Dame and you've already beaten Florida and you beat a good USF team, and it's all right there in front of you, there's a part of you that says like, okay, now don't choke. Don't lose to Louisville because you screwed up the first quarter when Brom scripted you to death. Don't lose to SMU when you got a 3-point lead with under 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think Unfortunately, they have bought into the narrative a bit. And I wonder how many guys on that sideline, when this was a close game at halftime and it was a close game in the third quarter, kind of started to think like, oh no, here we go again with Miami late season. I'm wondering how much of that has crept its way into the program, because you can change the coach, you can change the quarterback. That logo on the helmet is still the same. And the program itself, like, you can bring new guys in, but you end up adapting to that history that your program has. And I mean, we see it with Virginia Tech almost every season now for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
How the one score game things and the inability to beat out of conference teams. And I think for Miami, this is just something that they can't get out of their identity right now.
And it takes a big culture changer to change that identity. Like, look what it took Dabo a long time. I mean, he was getting asked about Clemsoning many years into his career.
I mean,
and then he put
like
and then
6 years for him. Like, it was a long time.
Yeah,
it was a long time.
But it takes a lot, and it takes culture year over year over year. And maybe, like, I don't know if we were fooled. Like, we always said when talking about Miami, like, well, if they do the Miami thing, but they're really good. Like, we talked about them as being a very good team, as Beck being one of the best quarterbacks, most accomplished quarterbacks in the country. And lo and behold, when the rubber meets the road later in the year, like, it's come crashing down. And they could still make the playoff. They could, because of that Notre Dame win. If Notre Dame wins out and Miami wins out, there's a good chance Miami's in the playoff. Yeah. But that's such a long shot, it seems like, at this moment.
I mean, they're going to run into tiebreaker issues in the ACC because they don't have games against Virginia and Georgia Tech. And I think that's going to hurt them. And I'll tell you, a team that's like still up there is SMU.
I mean, and SMU's got a shot.
And like that game against Pitt.
And Louisville, dude, I mean, right now, who do you trust the most in the ACC? Is it still Georgia Tech?
I think.
I mean, that was a bad loss, but it's Raleigh at night. You could kind of see it coming.
Well, I would also say it's a hobbled CJ Bailey. NC State didn't have their starting running back and their best pass catcher, and they still put up a jillion points on Georgia Tech. And we kind of saw this when Virginia Tech played down there. Tech got shut out in the first quarter. It was not a good quarter. But after that, Tech's offense had a really they got down the field a lot, man. And Tech had a really high success rate in that game too, like 40-something%. So
we can talk a little bit more about Georgia Tech in a few minutes, but like that was disappointing, but it's also not. We knew that Georgia Tech wasn't this overwhelming talent team. We know they're kind of like one guy, and that's a little dismissive, but you understand what I'm saying. Miami has 5 stars and 4 stars everywhere, and they go and they lose to SMU on the road, which, again, like, if you're talking about the spreads when we're previewing this game, it's like SMU just got embarrassed at Wake. They're going to come home, they're going to be pissed, and they're going to give Miami a game. And you know what? It was exactly what happened. It might have been a bad spot for Miami, but you know what? Good teams beat bad spots. You know what? A bad spot? BYU when they went to Ames. Guess what they did? They put the hammer down. They won. You know, like, there's plenty of bad spots out there. The best teams overcome them.
Georgia Tech plays. They have a bye week, and they'll play at Boston College. Scary, but this Boston College team, not so scary. Then they host Pittsburgh, and then they play Georgia neutral site game in Atlanta because they're the most little brother program in the country, and they gave up a home game against their rival to play.
Yeah, it's
in
that
Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah,
baby brother program, baby brother, so,
and they still might beat them. And they still,
they might. I mean, I think if Georgia Tech beats Boston College and Pitt,
that Pitt game's huge.
That Pitt game's huge.
And those two teams, have you watched, like, you look at their history over the past few years, like, it's pretty nuts. They play some weird games.
So I think you will have an instance where Georgia Tech Pitt, and then the next week Miami Pitt. Those will be kind of like a 3-team round robin pool, and the winner of that plays Louisville in the ACC.
You know who else Pitt plays?
Virginia's undefeated in the ACC, so I guess you'd play Virginia in that case. But
Virginia has to play Duke still, who just got the win over Clemson. We'll talk about all this stuff, but like that, Pitt plays Notre Dame also. Like, this is really gonna get funky because, like, Miami needs the Notre Dame win to stay good, but Miami also has to it's just like it's kind of
We'll
there's a
probably
lot of
cover this.
connections there.
I think we need to go one more week,
Yeah.
and then we can play the tiebreaker game.
That's
so
what we're
on
going to do.
Next week's episode.
Next week's
what we'll
episode.
do. Yeah.
We're going to do a conference kind of roundup who's looking good for all the championship games and the conferences and whatnot. Let's take a quick look at the coaching carousel because we got news that Hugh Freeze was fired at Auburn on Sunday. This is after the loss to Kentucky, where they were able to only muster 3 points at home versus one of the worst teams in the conference. Hugh was 15-19 in 2 3/4 seasons, 6-16 in the SEC. That is not what they were signing up for. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time since he was a good coach at a high level. Yeah. We're getting pretty far removed from those Ole Miss teams.
Yeah, we are. And they really had, and reducing that down to just being Swag Kelly and going out there and beating Alabama a couple times, I think that's obviously a little reductive because they had some playmakers on defense on those Ole Miss teams.
Yeah, they cheated out of their mind to get them to.
They absolutely did, with no question about it. But a lot of people were cheating.
That's very true.
They were more overt about it. What happened with Freeze at Auburn was that he didn't have a quarterback in 3 years, like not one that could throw. And he kind of got a rep for being good at finding quarterbacks and developing quarterbacks. And he couldn't do it at Auburn. Then we heard the weird stuff with like, this coach is going to call first down and this coach is going to call second down. Do you remember that from the summer?
That was a major red flag. And I think that was when a lot of people were like, sell Auburn. But then they came out and they had an impressive win at Baylor to start the season. Yeah. And you were like, okay, like maybe they have something here. We knew the defense was very good. We knew Jackson Arnold could beat you with his legs, but it just progressively got worse. And it was like, eventually you run out of excuses and you got to win a big game. And like, if you're waiting for the season where you don't have a gauntlet of a schedule, like Auburn's not the place for you. And Hugh Freeze swung and missed on 2 straight transfer portal quarterbacks when all we heard was about how they were loading up their money for this year. And then you go out and you get an SEC quarterback who that team didn't want anymore. Like, you kind of did exactly what Florida State did 2 years in a row. So
yeah,
it's that was, for me, that's kind of the nail in the coffin. It's hard for Hugh Freeze to argue against that. And like you said, 6-16 in the league is pretty preposterous. Do you want to hear?
They were done some disservices this year too by the referees. There is no question. But when you put the whole body of work together, they still went out against Kentucky and scored 3 points. You know,
something I wanted to point out too, when we're talking about ranking these jobs, which is it's a fun thing for people like me and you to do, but it doesn't really mean anything. Auburn is one of these jobs where I think the brand of Auburn carries a lot more weight than what position they are in college football to succeed at a high level. I got this from Marvin Analytics, who's a really good Twitter, whatever you want to call it, really good college football analytics account to follow. Auburn's only had 7 10-win seasons since 1990. Their one title run was with the capital THE best college football player of all time at quarterback, who they got for 1 year. And they've been trending pretty far downward since that year. I mean, Brian Harsin went 9-12. And then they had Cadillac Williams.
They had the year.
You remember they had Cadillac Williams as their coach for 4 games? And they went 2-2.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember the year that Gus had them in the Natty though? I mean,
yeah, since that year they had them in the Natty, it's been pretty downhill. So Gus Malzahn went 68-35, and you fired him.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and they're still probably paying that buyout and Harsin's buyout and Hughes' buyout.
Since then, let me do some quick math. That's 9-15. That is 30. They are 24-34 since firing Gus Malzahn.
Yeah, I listen. Auburn, we know structurally it's a little bit messy down there. Like LSU's messy, Auburn also messy. When it comes to the boosters, do you remember when they were getting rid of Gus, there was like the whole Kevin Steele thing. And then Harsin ended up getting hired in what seemed like they got like their third or fourth choice. I can't remember the details exactly, but that's that's what's coming to mind. And so Harsin's tenure started weird, ended weird. That didn't work. And then you bring in Hugh, who had a checkered past, at least off the field, checkered. On the field, some shady stuff with, like you said, they were cheating their butts off. And then he goes to Liberty and they win. And then he, as soon as he gets the news he's leaving, he gets one foot out the door and doesn't finish strong there. It's like, I've never been the biggest Hugh Freeze guy, but in general, he's won. Well, now he hasn't won. And so it's Auburn just seems to have just made poor decision after poor decision and enter this coaching cycle now. And a lot of Tech fans were watching what Auburn and Florida State were doing this weekend, because if there was coach firing news, that could have an impact on James Franklin and our pursuit of James Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
The sense is that James is not on their like immediate top candidates, but for some boosters, he may be.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, this is an athletic department that is run by their biggest boosters. And it is going to be one that's really, really tough for a new coach to come in and call the shots immediately. And I think that's going to take a very specific type of coach to succeed that power to the boosters. And like, is that going to be a James Franklin? I don't know if that's really what he wants to walk into right now. The name floating around is John Summerall. That's the opposite of his personality. Like, he is not that kind of guy at all. I'm starting to think that they might not get the guy they totally want.
Well, do you think they want Summerall? Because that's the name everyone's talking about.
I think they want Summerall, but I could see them somebody is going to swing at Gruden or Fisher. And so
that would be so Auburn.
It would be so Auburn, right? Now, I don't think they do, but
you can't do that.
It takes like 3 rich guys in Alabama on a golf course.
I know.
And John Gruden's your head coach.
I know. There's been a little bit of talk about Brent Key going to Auburn because of his Alabama roots.
Yes. I think that's one where, do you pry Brent Key away from Georgia Tech, who seems to have kind of a good thing going here? They are more competitive in the NIL space, and they've bolstered up their recruiting, and his path to the playoff is, it's paved in gold with cherry trees on the side of it right now. Like,
it was better.
Yeah. Well, still, like he
goes 11-1, he's going to get in there. If he goes 10-2 and wins the ACC, he's in.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough to pry him away from Georgia Tech for that.
And that's his alma mater. The reason I said roots is because I'm pretty sure he's from
Alabama. And I think he's
some part of Alabama. I can't remember which part.
So we'll see, man. We'll see. I could see Auburn going after like Will Stein, the offensive coordinator at Oregon. I could see them going after Georgia's defensive coordinator. I could see them going after Tennessee's. Like I could see them going the coordinator route.
We talked a little bit about LSU having a big buyout to pay for. Auburn's paying a lot of money, man, and on multiple different buyouts, and they might not care, and it might not matter, but that could be a reason they go after a coordinator, like or Bob Chesney, or I don't know anything. I'm just trying to, like, a cheaper option is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, to me, after what they've paid over the last 5-6 years and what they're gonna pay, do you see them paying $10 million plus for James Franklin?
No, I don't. I see them also with how bad their offense has been this year. I could see them swinging for a points guy. Like, I could see them paying $8-9 million for Alex Golish.
Okay.
I could see that. Like, yeah. I could see them being like, we just want to score points again, and the defense will recruit. Like, we'll deal with that in the recruiting circuit. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
And it's been working. Their defense is gnarly.
Their defense is always going to be gnarly. If you recruit at that level, you're going to have a decently high floor.
Okay. Well, listen, we are going to get to more on the latest with Franklin. We've already discussed it with regard to Auburn, but there's a question in the chat from Godfrey we'll address. Either get the Franklin deal done this week or move on, whoever the new coach is. I hope they keep most of the true freshmen. I'm really impressed with performance on defense. So thank you, Godfrey, for the comment. Just another comment. Give me James Franklin from Coach. Mike McDaniel didn't need to fake everyone out like that. Mike put out some eyes emoji on X, which people got stirred up, and I loved it. It was great, and I love Mike. We both worked together on the Hokie Hoops. And then why no announcement yet? Listen, I'll just say this. There were some rumblings that there was a deadline of today, right? I'm sure people have seen that or heard it from a friend, or they got a text like, oh, we gave James Franklin a deadline of today. Cannot confirm nor deny that happened. But even if it did happen today, even if he did put pen to paper today at 5:00, that information getting all the way done and closed out would not necessarily be released yet by 8:30 p.m. Monday night.
Yeah, and it's tough to put a date on these things, especially when they're developing so quickly. Like Auburn, I do think Auburn coming open when they did threw a wrench into this. Whatever the plan was, that there was a wrench into it. I mean, that's a massive brand opening their job. And I also think LSU did as well. I mean, that's one that we haven't talked about yet this episode, but you got a lot of big openings right now. And I think whatever you thought 2 weeks ago for the date of today, that probably changes with some of these openings that we've seen.
Yeah. I mean, LSU's open, Florida's open, and James Franklin went on game day and said, I want to win a national championship. And there are programs out there that give him a better opportunity that need a head coach. And that's not a slight to my university. It's just a fact of the matter. Like,
yeah,
LSU, Auburn, and Florida are probably better equipped to load up on talent and win a national championship than Virginia Tech. Now, that could change if you get the right coach and he does it at Tech and we invest the right way. But like James Franklin is a big brand and he's got a big ego. He wants what is probably going to be the biggest job he can obtain.
Mm-hmm. I think it is that gap between the LSUs and Floridas and Auburns, and then your schools below that. You know, let's look at other openings like Virginia Tech, Wisconsin, Oklahoma State. I don't think that gap is as large as it was 10 years ago. Like, I really don't. I think that you're seeing Texas Tech do this year what you're seeing BYU kind of do a little bit. I mean, you're seeing them more in the basketball world, but like if you look at Texas Tech, you watch them play, they don't look that much different from an LSU.
No,
like their size, their speed, their
they'd probably
beat
LSU right now.
Oh, yeah, right now they would. Like they don't look any different than that.
No, they're big. Yeah.
And I just think you can do it at that level now if you have the financial backing, if you have the coaching in place. I mean, that program too, Texas Tech, I know they've done an amazing job in the portal and they've recruited high school a little bit better. A lot of those guys they've developed over 2 or 3 years as well.
I think before in college football, 10 years ago, you know, Tech trying to catch Alabama would have been like so challenging from just a structural standpoint. Like there are so many things that need to change. And now with the portal and just if you get the right money and you put up together the right puzzle pieces, like now, like doing this stuff is so much of like making sure everything's aligned at the same time and you can get these players in this class, which match with this quarterback, and it all goes to plan. And like, that's what's happening with Texas Tech right now. And it's not, the mountain isn't as high to climb, but assembling the pieces and getting the financial backing is the mountain. And it's just a different type of mountain.
Yeah. And you got to do it multiple years in a row too. You can't just do it once and call it a day. You got to do it for 4 or 5 years. That I think is maybe even the bigger hurdle for programs like Virginia Tech is, can you sustain that level of input year after year after year? The key is to actually win games, to give some but he's
You
something to
have to
donate
win
to.
and keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
Like Fran Brown is going to run into this problem at Syracuse. He
already has.
He had a great
He
year
already
one
has.
with what was an NFL draftable quarterback, and they had a great season, including when we blew a lead, which helped them get to 9 wins. But he had a great first season, and now it's totally gone. His quarterback got injured, and the momentum is gone. And it's at a place like Syracuse, when you lose that momentum, it could be a death knell for Fran Brown. I think he's a pretty decent coach, but like we only have 1 year sample size, and now like the mo is gone. And so it is so important that whoever we hire and when we do it, if we're going with a new plan of blasting the money cannon with James Franklin, if that's who it is, then you've got to do it and you've got to stay at a certain level. Because if it starts to go south and year 2, you only win 5 games or something, you've lost the momentum. You're going to lose support. And that goes for any coach here. So like keeping it up is so important.
I'd agree.
And that's what she said. All right. And we're going to move to our next game here before we go to VT Corner, which is going to be in like 20 minutes, maybe a little bit less. We already talked about SMU and Miami. So let's go to Texas. They jumped out to a big lead and hold on versus Vanderbilt, 34-31. Arch was in, and he started well. Had that TD pass in the first play of the game. Horns were up 17-0 after one, 24-10 at the half, 34-10 after 3 quarters. But would you expect anything less from Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt but to come storming back? They got a TD, missed Texas field goal, TD, punt from Texas, TD. And then Texas recovers the onside kick to survive 34-31. And they got me the cover barely by the skin of their teeth. Thank you, Texas. Arch was pretty good in this one. 25 of 33, 328 yards, and 9.9 yards per attempt average. He's improved, Sam. He looks improved.
He does. And this is kind of what we expected to see out of him. Yeah, he has a big arm and he can run, but Sark's offense is best when the quarterback just gets the ball out of their hands and they let their playmakers go. He does a great job of scheming their offense so that guys have the opportunity for yards after catch. That's what they did in this game. It worked out. Honestly, they started to do it second half against Mississippi State. And Texas's athletes are going to out-athlete pretty much any team in the country. Certainly Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. And they've done that over the past 6 quarters of play. Texas's issue in this game was they were in a position to just kind of run the clock out, and they can't run the ball. Like that offensive line can't run block.
They were good in pass block in this game, though. Arch, I don't think got sacked at all, which is like, that's impressive.
Well, it's usually, and we've noticed at Virginia Tech too, but usually offensive lines are good at one or the other. Like Virginia Tech, great run blocking, awful pass blocking. Texas, great pass blocking, awful run blocking.
Yeah.
It just looks, they look like they look like none of them have ever run blocked before. They only really look like they know what they're doing in pass pro. If they go to run block, they're like standing up and jogging around.
And it's not a question of like running back talent.
It's almost like Wisner in this game. Like, I don't know if these are exact stats because this is web scraped off of ESPN, which sucks, but 18 carries for 72 yards is what I have for Wisner. Like, I'm shocked he got that much.
I mean, the Vanderbilt defense has been pretty solid this year. I mean, more than solid this year. They've been a good unit, but Arch was able to get enough done through the air. But you're right. The reason Vanderbilt came back was because Pavia was able to pass the ball. Vandy couldn't run at all. I mean, they had 58 rush yards. Pavia threw for 365. That might be a career high. I mean, I have to look at Pavia's historic stats. That's a lot of passing yards. He had 4 total TDs. I was surprised Vandy's D-line, who's been very good, couldn't get more pressure on Arch Manning. And that was one of the major differences, especially early. So this is a shot to Vandy's playoff hopes. Maybe a death knell. It depends. If they go 10-2, you never know. Vandy still has to play Tennessee at the end of the year. But it's a huge boon for Texas and their chances because they have a head-to-head win now against a really good team, and they have a head-to-head over Oklahoma. So it's going to be very hard for the 2 SEC teams that are eligible to creep up on them from behind.
Texas hosts Texas A&M in Austin.
They do.
Thanksgiving weekend. I would not be surprised if that game is for a spot in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, if Texas A&M wins their next 2 games, they're in. But
they are.
That's That's a monster football game.
Texas has a far. If we just want to look at Vandy in Texas, Vandy has 2 SEC losses, and one of Texas's losses is out of conference, and so they're going to have the edge in conference, and very hard to surpass. However, doesn't Texas have Georgia left too?
Texas goes to Georgia,
and then A&M. So Vandy could still pass them in the standings.
They have a cupcake game, right? They embraced Cupcake Week.
Yeah, Texas has somebody that I didn't write down. I don't know if it's a cupcake, but there's another team I didn't.
Oh shoot, they don't have a cupcake. They have Arkansas at home.
Okay.
They front loaded their cupcakes. They had cupcakes for breakfast. They had Ohio State for breakfast, and then they had cupcakes for brunch.
They really, outside of Ohio State, it hasn't been like that daunting.
No, I mean that Florida loss is killing them.
It was a spot. It was a spot loss, man. Arch wasn't playing well. They went to the swamp, and it wasn't.
You can't throw away the Ohio State game because it happened, but like only losing by 7 at Ohio State.
That's actually good.
That kind of seems like a positive.
And they were driving, right? Like Texas was driving.
They were driving with the ball. I mean, they only held Ohio State to 14 points. Texas failed to score. They had first and goal twice and got no points from both of those times.
Yeah, that's crazy, man, how close that game was.
That game was pretty darn close. If Texas wins at Georgia, I think if they win at Georgia and they beat Arkansas, I think they can get in with. I think they're going to have a conversation for getting in with 9-3.
Texas could. Oklahoma. See, yeah, Oklahoma would have the best case for 9-3 because I think their schedule's the hardest in the SEC, but they lost to Texas. So if both teams are 9-3 and you're letting one 9-3 team in, it ain't going to be Oklahoma.
Yeah, and especially since in that case, all 3 of Texas's losses would be the top 5 teams.
Right.
2 of them on the road.
So anyway, all right, that's enough about Texas. Let's move to Oklahoma. Speaking of which, they outlast Tennessee 33-27. Wild fourth quarter in this one. Multiple onside kicks by Tennessee. Couldn't get either one. Sloppy game. 5 total turnovers, 14 total penalties, 11 penalties on Oklahoma on the road. They still come out with the victory. Joey Aguilar had a ridiculous stat line for Tennessee, though. 393 yards against the Oklahoma defense. Like, that's pretty crazy. They outgained them. But the story of the game, I think, was the OU run game. They went for 192. Robinson was great late. They got that big run. Mateer doesn't look quite right in the pass game still, but he was making it happen with his legs. He had 240 total yards, a 72 QBR. I just like, you look at the box score, dude, like, I didn't realize how many yards Tennessee had because I'm watching the game and it's like, yeah, Tennessee don't look that good. They had like almost 500 yards. Like, it was crazy how much they were. Like, they had 28 first downs compared to 19 for Oklahoma, and they lost. This was a weird game.
Dude, you want to know why Oklahoma won this game? There was one player that won them this game, and that was Tate Sandell. In his Daisy Duke football pants. That is the kicker for Oklahoma, who went.
He did have Daisy Duke on.
He went 4 of 4. He went 3 for 3 over 50 yards, and then he hit another like 43 yarder. He hit a 55 yarder in this game. He accounted for 15 points. Like, he had, I don't know. Because I want to say, like, the Joey Sly game that he had at Pittsburgh, especially considering it was that field in the winter, I thought was one of the most impressive games we've ever seen from a kicker. He won Virginia Tech a game at Pittsburgh. This might be the most impressive game we've seen from a kicker in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, in a raucous environment. Did you happen to see the video of those British people that went to the Tennessee game?
I did, and it's phenomenal. Anytime a Brit or an Australian goes to a college football game, it's a much watch video.
Yeah, and the way they were describing the crowd and the way it looked on television, like that's a really freaking tough environment to have the kicking day.
I'd say that's a top 5 toughest place to play, probably.
So this was just a massive win for Oklahoma. I didn't think they'd do it. Like I really didn't think they'd do it. So they proved me wrong. And now Tennessee on the flip side, they're basically knocked out of the playoffs because they had 2 home losses by a total of 9 points. I mean,
well,
they also haven't beaten anybody good.
They haven't beaten anybody. And if you look at their schedule, like, yeah, Vanderbilt's still a very good team, but Vanderbilt's probably not a playoff game team
for an SEC schedule. It hasn't been hard.
Yeah, and it's like at some point you gotta. They talk about this with March Madness a lot. I think this
is really fair. They did play Bama, they played Georgia, they played Oklahoma. Like it's I don't know.
I think we will get to a point where we start to talk about like this team that's on the bubble. Have they beaten a team in the field that's like in the field that we know of? And unfortunately for Tennessee is like when you got that chance to try to play them, you lost. We're not going to just give you another chance just because you got an SEC patch. I think sometimes like pundits,
you have to beat somebody.
Like, yeah, like quality losses only work when you also have quality wins.
Mm-hmm.
And right now for Tennessee, like you don't have those quality wins. And I think if they beat Vanderbilt and if they win out, I think there will be somewhat of a discussion. But right now, I just don't see it. And if you watch them play, they don't really look like a playoff team either. And I think that's hurting them.
The defense for Tennessee, something we were banking on preseason, pun intended, never materialized. It never materialized. That defense is just not that great because Tennessee's had a problem. Sorry, Oklahoma's had a problem playing offense against a lot of teams. They scored 33 in this one, and they had some nice big plays, and they were on the road, and they still dropped 33 on you. Like that Tennessee defense just it hasn't lived up to what it was supposed to be, and that's been the difference in their season. And even if they beat Vandy, that would mean that's their only good win because the other game they have left is Florida, and Florida's doesn't have a coach, and they're not very good.
Tennessee is 45th in net success rate right now this season. That's behind Iowa, Florida, Penn State, Michigan, Auburn, Arizona.
Behind Penn State?
It's behind Penn State by 0.4%.
Okay. But
like it's like they haven't shown you on a play-by-play basis that they're that much better than even this schedule that they are playing.
Do us a favor. What are like the 5 through 10 success rate teams?
5 through 10. Number 5, Miami. Number 6, Missouri. Number 7, Texas Tech. 8, Vanderbilt. 9, Utah. 10, Toledo. Now, Toledo is pissing me the F off because they look amazing in our studio and they look like trash when they're playing on a football field. I don't know what's going on with Toledo, so I throw that out. The team below Toledo is Texas A&M.
So most of the team, if you're in the playoff hunt, you have a very a top 15 success rate.
I mean, the top 2 are Indiana and Ohio State.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. NC State takes down Georgia Tech 48-36. I said 48. Sam, this game did not go to overtime. So that is a lot of points. I really felt like this was going to be NC State's night, and they responded to my feeling. I didn't expect it to kind of play out like this. I expected maybe like a high 20s win where they stifle Haynes King. Haynes King threw for 400 yards. Like, I just cannot believe what happened to the Georgia Tech defense in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of speechless on this game. I was watching it sitting next to a NC State grad who's very excited. There's just nothing about this game that said that Georgia Tech should lose by double digits, but like NC State kept getting chunk play after chunk play.
Without two of their best players.
Without 2 of their best players. Georgia Tech looked pretty lethargic and tired on defense, and I give like NC State, I give them a lot of credit because they did so many things well in this game and they didn't turn the ball over and they were decent on special teams. And it's like that's when we say like any team on any Saturday in any situation can go out and have a performance like this because it is college football and it's if you do your job, you're still playing college kids on the other side and they could just half their team could just not show up. And that's what happened to Georgia Tech. Half their team didn't show up. So I think it's kind of like a credit to NC State, but also like Georgia Tech. You had 11 guys on defense who didn't do anything.
As much love as we've given Brent Key this year, and we've given him some, a lot of people have. He's a fun coach to root for. BRM loves him. They went 7-5 last year with what was arguably a better roster than they have this year. And they've played a weak schedule and they've taken advantage of it. They were 8-0, top 10 team. But like, this is a clunker, man. Like, this is just one of them straight up clunkers that if you're a really good coach and when you have everything in front of you, you got to be able to win. If we can go down there and win in Raleigh at night with the mess of a team we have, like, Brent Key's got to be able to get it done. He's got to be able to get this done. And to not only lose, but to be down. I mean, this game was over. NC State, there was a drive early fourth quarter where Georgia Tech had the ball. They went 3 plays, -1 yards. They need to get back in the game. They're down by 11 at this point. 3 plays, -1 yards, punted. NC State scored, up by 18, game over. And it was like, how do you get -1 yard with the game on the line when you're the undefeated team? Like, and Haynes King was balling. Like, it wasn't a perfect night, obviously, but like he really is like all they've got. Like, and he's the only one that consistently shows up, I should say.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised at defensively how bad they've been because if you remember 2 years ago, they were a really bad defense. And then they were slowly making progress. And this year they were good, not great. And you were liking what you were seeing. And they were very ball control on offense as well. And it's like, it's almost one of these times where they had so many explosive big plays on offense and they scored so quickly on some of these drives that they just kind of threw their defense back out there and their defense got progressively worse as the game went on. And when NC State hit that big 55-yard touchdown pass at the end of the third quarter, like he was wide open. It was a clear busted coverage. It was a mental error. And it was like, oh man, like I don't think they recover from that at this point in the game. Like, because it was pretty clear NC State was just going to be able to run the ball on them with no matter who they had at running back.
Yeah. And great win for them. And I'm going to back down just from the Haynes King being the only guy on the team. Like Allen and Rivers, they were awesome on the outside in this one. Like they have playmakers. We know that. But when it comes right down to it, if Haynes King's not being Superman, and he even was Superman in this one, if the defense plays like that, they're going to lose a lot more games. I know NC State can do some things, and CJ Bailey is a dangerous quarterback, but like no Jolly and Bailey, like you said, is limping around. Like this was a perplexing one. Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious that UVA has a loss to the same team that Georgia Tech does, a last-second loss, but UVA also lost to NC State. UVA undefeated in ACC conference play.
Georgia Tech is 120th in defensive success rate and 124th in adjusted expected points added per play on defense. They are they basically have Virginia Tech's defense right now.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So this is going to happen. It's going to happen.
All right, let's move to Utah and Cincinnati, ad read, and then VT Corner at 9 p.m. Utah makes light work of Cincinnati 45-14. This was a Utah stomp session, man. 14-7, then 24-7 at the half, then 38-14, and then finally 45-14. Sorsby was terrible. He hit 1/3 of his 33 passes. And Dampier did what he does, almost 300 total yards, 80 QBR. Utah ran for 267 on 53 carries. And that's when they're at their best. I mean, I know they had a lead most of the time, but they are a run first team and they kicked ass. I don't really have a ton to say because it was such a dominant performance. I guess I would go back to what you've done in your research, and that unlike Clemson and Death Valley, Utah has turned around their home field advantage.
Who's back of the week? Rice-Eccles Stadium. That place is a serious weapon. And I know they've had some disappointing performances at home over the bit, but the last 3 home games played at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Are you ready for this? 42-10 over Arizona State, 53-7 over Colorado, 45-14 over Cincinnati.
Jeez Louise.
That's
crazy.
That is quick math. That is 140 to 31.
Damn.
Over three like good conference opponents. 2 of them are going to make a bowl.
Like
2 of them were ranked
42-10 every game.
2 ranked teams. You did that too. Like it is a serious weapon. And I think, like, first off, Texas Tech looks phenomenal right now after this. But if you go back to that BYU game, Utah went for it on 4th down and field goal range a whole lot, and they didn't get it, and they lost that game by 3.
Yeah.
This should probably be a playoff team.
They're good enough to be a playoff team. And if
I think so.
And if that game against Texas Tech kicks off at a reasonable hour,
if that game's at night, it might be a little different. I don't know, totally different, but I mean,
it was a really close game through 3 quarters.
I think Utah's a better team than Georgia Tech and Miami.
Yes.
I think Utah is a better team than probably Texas. I think it would be really interesting if they played Oregon.
Do you think Utah's better than, you said Texas? They better than Mizzou? They better than Vandy?
I think they're better. They're certainly better than Mizzou right now. I think them and Vandy would be a really interesting game. I do.
Do you think they're better than USC?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think they're better than Pete. We have like 5 years in a row of Utah just dog walking USC.
I know that's a bad matchup. That's a bad matchup. You're right. They used to go there and they'd get these spreads and be like, "Why does this line stink so bad?" And then Utah would smoke them, and it's like, "Oh, that's why."
Yeah, but Utah ends at Baylor. Tough game, but they should handle that. Host Kansas State. Tough game, they should handle it. At Kansas. Kind of a tough game, but they should handle it. This team's going to be 10-2. I'll have to look up the tiebreakers for the Big 12, but unfortunately, I think they might be. They might need some real chaos to happen.
They need Texas. Well, yeah, because they lost to BYU.
They lost to BYU and Texas Tech. Like I don't think it happens for them.
BYU wins against Texas Tech this weekend, they're going to be in the title game most likely, and the other spot's up for grabs. If Texas Tech wins, we're probably getting a rematch.
Mm-hmm.
So,
quick. I know we're not a VT corner yet, but quick one. The Hokies are winning 90-57 right now against Charleston Southern. Big second half for the fellas. We are on Century Watch.
Yeah, the
3:44 left.
The first half was not so hot. So
yeah, progression to the mean in the second half.
Looking at we've outscored our first half already, and there's still 4 minutes left, so that's nice. All right, College Football Monday is brought to you by Jack and Coke. 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can, and you can see that can right on your screen. It's true. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey and Coca-Cola, or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, are now available in a can. You can also get Jack and Vanilla, Jack and Cherry, and you can get the mix pack with Jack and Vanilla, Jack and Cherry, and the original Jack and Coke all in one box. They are delicious. I highly recommend you hit up your local beer store, wine store, convenience store, whatever it may be, even in some of the grocery stores. Depending on the state, you can find Jack and Coke. 2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, ready to drink. And when you are having those Jack and Cokes, please drink responsibly. We've got a bunch of comments in the chat. Thank you. If you're here with us, make sure to like the video. And we're about to.
Oh,
This is VT Corner.
Here we go.
Everyone's favorite segment of College Football Monday. Let me go back to some of the comments because we had some good ones in here. And we're going to discuss the loss to Louisville. We fell 28-16. It looked like we might have something there, Sam, for a minute. But we're going to do a quick few minutes on the coaching search on James Franklin because unless you were living under a rock, the smoke we're doing signals now, man. Like this James Franklin watch hype meter, whatever it may be,
it can't get higher.
It's going nuclear. And so there's been rumors he's here, he's there, there's a contract, there's a deal, there's not a deal. It was a roller coaster ride today. So we had this comment from Godfrey earlier, VT Corner. Either get the Franklin deal done this week or move on, whoever the new coach is. I hope they keep most of the true freshmen. I'm really impressed with the performance, and so on and so forth. We talked about the deadline last week, our personal deadlines. Like I was like, if it doesn't happen by Monday to Wednesday, it's probably going to be another few weeks before we know anything. You were a little bit more like, well, we have a bye. A
little more end of the week, yeah.
Yeah, like end of the week, maybe even to the following week because we're on a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know how I want to approach this, but like the general feeling today was like, okay, there's nothing coming down the pike. Like it doesn't seem like we're hearing anything. This may die for the time being and we'll just move on. And then in the afternoon, there was some scuttlebutt. There was some eyes emojis. Let me go down to this one because this is funny. The Mike McDaniel didn't need to fake everyone out like that. And then did Mike explain why he tweeted those eyes?
Engagement, baby, engagement.
And, I even tweeted earlier, 4 hours left. That was at 1 p.m. because it was kind of like there was because of the close of business rumors, like the 5 p.m. rumors. Listen, we've been hearing that this is potentially going to happen imminently for literally a week. A week ago, Sam, we were sitting here on College Football Monday and rumors were hitting the chat.
Yep.
And
yep.
So I think everyone is in a wait for the Thamel bomb, wait for the Mike McDaniel bomb and see mentality. Where are you right now?
Are we going to call it a Mike missile? A McDaniel missile?
We got to come up with something.
Yeah.
Mike missile's pretty good.
A Mike missile. I like that. Yeah, it's one of those weird situations too, where when you have a NDA or not, when you have this coaching committee, search committee thing, I'm going to guess that you have a lot more conversations than you would normally if it's just 1 or 2 people you're talking to. Now it's 8, and now you have a lot more conversations. And I do think it is possible that James Franklin and Virginia Tech have had a lot of conversations and maybe have a verbal agreement. That's kind of where I'm landing right now. I don't think that means signed on the dotted line. Like I'm pretty sure they have a verbal thing going, but I don't know if anything is signed right now. I think once something gets signed, you'll hear it pretty quickly. But I also know how college football works, and it would not be surprising to me if James Franklin has had very high level talks with some other programs as well. Like that wouldn't surprise me. We haven't heard a lot of smoke around those other programs though, which is kind of confusing to me.
Well, one of the issues about the smoke thing is that Auburn's only been open for 24 hours, maybe a little bit more. But
one that I was thinking was Arkansas is one that I kind of expected to have a little more smoke around James Franklin, and it doesn't seem like any reputable journalists are predicting that.
No, I haven't seen anything to that degree.
And
both me and Sam are staying pretty plugged in on this stuff. The only fear, well, there's plenty of fears, and we talked a little bit about it earlier, but let's just readdress it since we're in VT Corner. Auburn coming open seemed like it could potentially be a hurdle for Virginia Tech, because not that like we know that Auburn's not aligned. There's a lot of different factions within Auburn, but if there are big money people that want Franklin and have connections, there could be conversations happening there. Godfrey, not the one that's in our chat, but Stephen Godfrey was on a Yahoo Sports video the other day and mentioned NC State for Franklin, which isn't even a job that's open. There's been the talk that FSU would be a place that he'd like to go. Another job that's not even open.
Not open.
So I believe there is an offer from Virginia Tech, a very good offer from Virginia Tech, and that it is up to Franklin whether he's willing to risk being in play for a month or take a job on the table right now that's going to pay you very handsomely anyway, in a place that someone pointed out earlier, an easier path to the playoff in the ACC than it is at Auburn or, Florida or any of these other SEC schools.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it too. And I also think a big part of it is the opportunity to come in and shape the program around your vision for it that you don't necessarily get at an Auburn. You might not get at a Florida. And also, like at Virginia Tech, I don't think you have time, as in you don't have a bunch of years anymore. I mean, probably only got 3+. So it's not like Virginia Tech's going to give you 5-6 years anymore. But I think you have more weeks in the season where you can try some things out. You get more reps for guys. You get more reps for your coaches. I don't think there is this pressure of playing a top 20 team every single week, because you're going to have to play a very good Miami and good Louisville and Florida State, Clemson, etc. You're also going to get some games against teams that you should probably handle pretty well. And up until this year, that's something James Franklin's been very good at. And I think he's a smart enough football guy to see that. Now, what I'm not so sure of is, like you said, does the allure of a bigger, quote unquote, bigger job, does that sweep in and take the rug out of Virginia Tech's feet? I think that's really your only fear right now, is Auburn saying $13 million, something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's we're at a point right now where I always felt like once we started hearing that stuff midweek last week, that we're either on the precipice or it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it does. I agree with
today
that.
And tomorrow are critical. Like, we are live on Monday night at 9:06 p.m. If we don't hear something by tomorrow, I don't think the James Franklin thing is happening. But there is reason to believe that we are making every effort to try to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think that's a perfect way to put it. I think it is. Virginia Tech has done their job in this scenario. Like, I firmly believe Virginia Tech has gone out and put forth the best offer that they could possibly put on the table, and worked with James Franklin and his party to make sure that it is an offer that he would be willing to accept. I also don't believe that he has formally accepted that offer. And Jimmy Sexton is an agent that is kind of known for stringing these things out a little bit longer than people think. And so it's maybe not super surprising to me that once we get the bat signals that, like, oh, it's done, we're just waiting. The fact that it's taking a few days more than we think is pretty normal for a Jimmy Sexton client.
Yeah. I mean, you can't believe anything. I
don't believe anything I see on the internet.
I have long been in the camp that as soon as I started hearing this, it felt too early, and it felt like a leverage play by Jimmy Sexton.
Yeah.
So I want to see the missile. I want to see the missile, and then we can all believe it. We can all dissect it the way we want to dissect it. Me and Sam have been over our candidates 1,000 times. Like, James Franklin's very high on my candidate list. He's number one for Sam. If this happens, it's a game changer for Virginia Tech.
It's the biggest hire in Virginia Tech history by a substantial margin.
Well, yeah.
I mean, by an unreal margin.
But because of the investment, because of his brand, because of so many factors, it's gonna shape the trajectory of our school and program and everything massively if it happens. And it could happen by the end of the show. It could happen by the time you wake up. I'm not trying to get people excited. I'm just saying, like, we can only say so much. We don't only know so much.
I don't know what else we could say.
Yeah.
I also think there is some strategic. You want to have more stuff in place, I think, before you go out and put everything out there. I think you want to have a good idea about who he wants to bring in for assistance and how much that's going to cost. All right. What kind of investments do you want here or there and how much that's going to cost? Incentives in the contract are very important as well. How much do you make for going to a bowl game? How much do you make for an ACC championship, et cetera, et cetera? All of those details are going to be very important, not only for James Franklin and his side to figure out, but also for Virginia Tech to figure out, like, okay, what does this full investment actually look like? Let's get our ducks in a row. It's not just here's James Franklin and here's his base annual salary. That's just the starter of the conversation.
And that's what I think some fans don't realize is that whatever James makes a year, whatever the new coach makes a year, say the new coach comes in, he's making $8 to $10 million, $8 to $11 million. That is, for someone like James Franklin, that is the start of his demands, because they're going to want XYZ. They're going to want roster guarantees. They're going to want assistant pool. They're going to this is when our new investment happens, whoever it is going to blow people's minds. Like, I'm telling you, these numbers are going to blow people's minds.
Yeah. I also would think too, if James Franklin needs to lure assistants away from other good jobs, he's going to have to do that with pay. And I think historically, pretty much since the mid 2000s, when Virginia Tech had the most expensive assistant coach pool, since then, it's been a downward spiral on where Virginia Tech ranks nationally. And you looked last year, like they were paying these guys pennies. Comparatively. I don't think that's going to happen with James Franklin. I don't think he's going to let that happen. So you're going to see not only a higher head coaching salary pool, but you're going to see a much higher assistant coaching salary pool. You're going to see additional analysts here or there. You're going to see an additional in the training staff. You're going to see everything built out more. All of that investment has to be figured out before you're willing to go all in on a coach. I think it'll be really interesting to see how many years, whoever it is, whether it's James Franklin, Dan Mullen, whoever, because you can't sign a guy on for a decade right now. The buyout thing, I think you're going to see a lot of colleges start to shy away from the buyout. And maybe that means you do pay a little bit more upfront in those couple of years. But
that's an interesting thought. Yeah.
Yeah. So the time value of money doesn't always work out how you think it does. I think
some schools are figuring that out.
Yeah. Some financial professionals I work with still don't figure that out, but oh well. The window
is closing rapidly.
The window is closing.
But it's not closed yet. It is not closed yet. And so we will.
Pete.
We are waiting.
Going live on YouTube when we get that news is going to be so much fun. So much fun.
We're live now. It'd be nice if it just happened right now.
If you're watching on YouTube, which you should, please do like and subscribe on YouTube. I've been looking over to my monitor, refreshing
I keep picking up my phone, man. I'm just like, come on.
Constantly. I've been doing that and looking at the Hokies.
We just about dropped 100 here, man.
Yeah, I had a missed layup with under 30 seconds left. I would have gotten
98. Come
98 to 67. A very good second half for the fellas.
College basketball Monday.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Hokies win on the hard court. That's nice. All right. Game recap. Do this quickly because we're going to discuss this later in the week, but Hokies may have played their best first half of the season against Louisville. After giving up the early touchdown, the defense clamped and they got that interception. That was a great play by Cash on that interception.
He had a great game.
We tied it with the touchdown. Then we got the blocked punt. We're up 9-7 because the ball went out of the end zone. We score another touchdown on what I thought was one of the best executed drives we've had this year. We had them totally on their heels with tempo, kept them guessing, get the quick pass to Selden. It is 16-7 at the half. Unfortunately, the second half was a totally different story, and it really turned on one specific set of plays. Do you want to tell our listeners what happened there?
Yeah. I mean, the drop by Donovan Green on the sidelines for what would have been a 75-yard touchdown play, that would have put this game in, not out of reach by any means, but it would have put Virginia Tech comfortably ahead. And you didn't get that. And then you go ahead and punt, and it's not a good punt, and the punt coverage is terrible and sets up Louisville inside their own 5-yard line, and they score a touchdown.
It was over like that. And like that momentum swing. So we still had a lead. I mean, it was 16-14, but it felt so deflating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it felt like Virginia Tech's offense was only going to have a few opportunities for explosive plays, and that was one of them. And it also felt like you could see in the second half the Virginia Tech defense get pretty tired and pretty worn out. And Jeff Brom clearly had a better game plan offensively going into the second half.
Yeah, he sure did. And, we talked about on our previous show that Monty has been good in second halves. Like he's actually got us playing decently in the second half. And that was what was really disappointing about this game, because we just did not have it. I don't know if we ran out of gas, and we can expand on that a little bit later, but 21 straight points for Louisville. Mm-hmm. And not only did we not win, we didn't even cover the 10.5. Like this went so sideways. And I really feel like that 2-play swing changed everything. And I'm bummed because we had a ranked team. We're up by more than one score on a ranked team at home with 30 minutes left. And we couldn't, the offense just, Sam, we were running that triple option offense basically. And we were not dynamic enough.
No, there was no dynamic to the offense. I think they did a good job of moving the ball forward in the first half, but I mean, just nobody could really break. It is very much like we talked about, Pete. And go back, we'll talk about this more on 2 Deep, but it's like they broke that first tackle and they couldn't get the next 5 to 10 yards, or they couldn't find the open passing lane. I mean, Kyron was 11 of 24 for 76 yards. You can't win with that. Like
passing, he ran great. I mean, he
14 carries for 85 yards. He great.
And he was in the run game, which is what we've been calling for. Just like make him Peyton Thorne, make him be an option quarterback. And he was actually making the right reads more often than not. So often we've seen Kyron make the wrong read in the run game. He was really doing a good job. But when we needed the occasional pass play, it didn't come to fruition. And to Kyron's credit, on the one that Donovan Green seemed like he alligator armed and didn't pull down on the sideline, that was a good throw. It wasn't a perfect throw, but it was damn near perfect. And
hit both his hands.
You got to catch that ball. You got to catch it.
Do you know how long Virginia Tech's longest play was?
Was it one of Kyron's runs?
It was a 17-yard pass to Aiden Green, and then Kyron had a 16-yard run.
Okay. Yeah. We
Tech averaged
that big play.
Tech only averaged 4.1 yards per carry. They only averaged 3.2 yards per pass attempt. They're just your 2 longest passes of the game was a 17-yarder to Aiden Green and then a 12-yard swing pass to Marcellus Hawkins.
It's disappointing. Like, look, that's a good secondary. We said that about Cal, but like maybe every secondary is good to us. But like,
I'm starting to find a common denominator here, Pete.
They legitimately have
they are very good.
A top secondary. It's really good. But what are supposed to be our top 2 wide receivers, Aiden Green and Donovan Green, I mean, they just don't do enough. Like they don't do enough. I know Kyron is subpar. I get that in the passing game. But like, Donovan Green is this super senior who like made a lot of plays for Wake Forest over the years. And if you're not going to pull in that pass, let the younger guys play. Like I'm kind of sick of it. He had a killer penalty versus Wake.
Guys don't actually play at all. So I don't really know what your other option is at this point.
Takai Heath plays.
Takai Heath plays. That's one. He's already starting. He's already on the field every snap.
You're right. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, Sam. It's disappointing.
It's disappointing and it's frustrating
because we had all that wide receiver talent in the cupboards, and we haven't seen Chance and we haven't seen Brody, and it's just like, where's the talent? Where are these guys? Because Donovan Green don't need to be out there if you can't catch the ball. So get somebody else out there.
I also think it did seem like the throw, like Kyron had the easy screen pass, swing pass throws, which he did fine with. The other throws were actually pretty tough. Like from one hash across the field to the other side of the field for like a 10-yard comeback route. That's a really tough throw. Now the ball wasn't close, but that's a really tough throw. And they tried to do that 2 or 3 times. They had a couple of instances where he was under pressure pretty quickly and didn't really have anywhere to go with the ball because we were trying to set up to make it look like a run. He only had 1 or 2 options. And because there was pressure, then he really only has to roll out to one side and he only has 1 option. And like you said, Louisville has good defensive backs. They're not going to get a lot of separation. Tech really didn't attack the middle of the field at all. And I think that was a mistake. It feels like that was part of the playbook that they threw out for this game that they probably should have kept in. And I think that led to Louisville being able to key in on the same 3 or 4 plays that Virginia Tech was really running consistently. And they're a very athletic defense and they're very good. And you're not going to beat them if you are, God, I don't want to even say one-dimensional because that one dimension really wasn't that good. It was like I don't know. I feel like we had the same game plan we had against Wofford for Louisville offensively. And it was good enough to keep Tech in the game, but it never really felt like
you're not going up against the wide open receivers on every play against Wofford.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it felt like if Virginia Tech was going to win this game, they'd have to get another defensive or special teams.
We needed a big bust. Yeah, we needed that punt block to stay in the end zone and recover it. We needed Donovan to come down with that ball. Defensively, they came to play, especially in the first half. After the first touchdown, there was a stretch of 6 drives where Louisville did not score. Under 100 yards for Louisville over 6 drives. And all this shit that I talked on Miller Moss, it looked real, man. I mean, we were giving him problems. And then they scored a touchdown 3 of their last 5 drives. And it kind of, like I said before, I think the defense ran out of gas and they couldn't keep up the performance.
Yeah.
Did you think that you saw Caleb Woodson looking a little bit more like himself?
On the first drive, my God, he was getting bullied. He got, 2 times in a row, the offensive lineman got to the second level and pancaked him.
Okay.
But then you saw this defense really step it up a notch, and I thought he started playing better. Keller looked better. Caleb Spencer's tackling was amazing. Tyson Flowers.
Dude,
Isaiah
some of those
Cash,
open field tackles.
Incredible. Like I thought the defense played their hearts out. Unfortunately, they were on the field way too much in that third quarter, and Virginia Tech had awful field position, time and drive again because they couldn't.
This season, man.
The special teams is so freaking awful.
Well, how do you reconcile the special teams? Like we have the punt block.
More bad than good.
Yeah, I guess so.
The consistency of the bad doesn't outweigh the flash of the good.
Right. Yeah. It's been a poorly coached unit for a long time. So we can move on from that. But we played hard against a good team, and they made adjustments, and we couldn't find the 1 or 2 big plays we needed to give us a shot in the fourth quarter, unfortunately. But it wasn't an all for naught kind of performance. It's going to go down as one of these like kind of random lost games in what was a weird season, but it was a really fun first half, man. I was having fun watching that game.
It was. I felt really proud of the fight of that team and the kind of gutsy decision to go with that style of offense to try to win a game. I thought that took some guts from Monty in this one. It's unfortunate how the second half went. Unfortunately, that's the second time in the row Virginia Tech has been leading a very good team by 2 scores at halftime and then gotten shut out in the second half, both at home. It's just unfortunately not anywhere near good enough offensively from the Hokies.
No.
How many times has that happened in Virginia Tech history to be shut out in the second half twice in the same season at home? Can't be often.
It can't be a ton. No, I wouldn't imagine it's a lot, but it's probably happened a fair amount. I would bet.
I'll ask you because I know we don't want to sit on this. We'll talk about it on the Too Deep show on Wednesday night. Like, we're going to try to do guys who we really want to stay in the program. Did this game like impact who would be on that list for you or who not on that list for you? Because it did for me. I saw some guys I was like, yeah, I really need them. And I saw some other guys that I was like, eh.
I think I already had a pretty good idea of the guys that I want to keep. I don't know if this game swung me on any other guy. Maybe Cash. Like, does Cash have any more years left?
Dude, I don't think so. I think, unfortunately, I think the issue, and we'll talk about it when we do that, there's a lot of guys on this Tech team that had 1 year.
There's plenty of guys that I like. I just think that I've already liked them prior to this game. So maybe, and we can let's save that for Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
College Football Monday is brought to you by Roback. Both me and Sam are rocking Roback hoodies. Sam, show off the one you have on because it's the nice one, man. You got that VT on the white. They got the strings with the maroon tips. I've got the blue on. Both wearing the hoodies, the dog on the shoulder. These are so comfortable. And you can use code 2DEEPVT to get 20% off your order over at roback.com. They have the hoodies, the tees, the quarter zips, and of course, what they're known for, the polos. And almost every college that you could possibly want, they've got them. Use code 2DEEPVT or at roback.com or, on your phone, mobile, they got everything. Load up your cart. And then also Compass Coffee, one of the best coffee companies out there in the DC and Nova area, their website and their app is amazing. If you don't live in that area, use code 2DVT on their app. Have the coffee ship right to your house. You'll get 20% off that coffee. Compass Coffee, great coffee doesn't need to be complicated. Sam isn't drinking. I'll talk about this quickly before we get to some other interesting games. Well, I'll leave this up for the beer review.
Yeah.
I'm drinking the Mas Fuego. So Tonewood is a South Jersey brewery that is available so many places in Philadelphia now. They have gotten pretty huge and up and down. Like, you'll see them in Maryland, see them in North Jersey. Tonewood is really good. They have the Fuego. That's their flagship beer. Like, the Fuego is their number one beer. It's what they kind of got them famous. And now they have so many other good ones. This is the Mas Fuego for those that speak Spanish out there. That's more fire. And I like to live Mas, so I grabbed this 8.2% alcohol, the original 6.2, and it's very good. This maintains like that flavor, a little extra juicy punch to it though. Love the Fuego, Chinook, Citra, Simcoe, Mosaic hops. It's fantastic. The other cool thing about Tonewood is they brew a lot of their stuff on site. And they do a lot of with solar energy. And so all their beers say like brewed with solar energy, which I think is kind of a cool green.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tonewood Brewing, the Mas Fuego. On Untapped, this has a 4.25. I'm going to stay with that.
Wow.
Like, I saw it in the store today. I had never even seen it. And this is one of my favorite breweries locally. I was like, I'm going to look it up. Maybe it's pretty good. 4.25. So I had to go for it.
I'm going to look to do a couple of darker beers in the next couple of weeks. So if you have any recommendations, send them my way. At Sam of Saturday on Twitter, send me a DM.
I put on our Instagram the picture of Master Shredder from the Veil. That's available in my local store. My local store does a great job of getting East Coast beers. Like, they get Hardywood, they get Veil. I can always grab my gingerbread stout. What was it called? GBS. I can get the GBS every year at my local store. And now I'm seeing the Veil pop up even more. It's awesome. Love to be able to grab some Virginia stuff up here. And Sam is working on he's got a review he's going to drop for you. I'm going to record me carving a pumpkin at some point soon here. It's going to be a good month. It's going to be a real good month.
It's going to be a great month.
We might get some coaching news too, but who knows? All right. Let's go back to our normal Orange Ocean here. Other interesting games from this past weekend. Ohio State won and covered versus Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. They only covered by like a half point. I mean, it was a little dicey there for a little while. Penn State was playing, but Julian's saying his accuracy is unbelievable.
It's crazy. I mean, his receivers are great, but he puts the ball in position where it's the classic. Either my guy's going to catch it or nobody's going to catch it. It works out a lot more than it doesn't.
20 of 23 in this game. He's close to like 80% on the year. He had 4 touchdowns, 3 incompletions.
That's wild.
So
that's wild.
Just listen to that again. Indiana crushed Maryland. I mean, Indiana it's beyond wagon status at this point. Georgia beats Florida in the 4th. They could have covered, but they didn't, which I was happy about. Ole Miss wins and covers against South Carolina. The offense for South Carolina is just so putrid. And I don't know if you saw the clip, Sam, of Beamer yelling into the headset. Did you see it?
I did see it.
Like he's yelling WTF Mike. Well, WTF Mike got fired after the game.
If only he would have listened when people told him that this was his second really bad offensive coordinator hire in a row.
Yeah, Mike Shula is no longer going to be calling the plays. I mean, Shane is not his father. I mean, he's already fired the offensive line coach and the OC mid-season. That is not something Frank Beamer would do or did do. And so this is kind of wild what's happening down there. It felt like they were in that game for a bit against Ole Miss, but they ultimately couldn't even cover for me. Notre Dame won an ugly one against BC. Easiest call of the weekend betting wise for me. I texted you guys, I want to say Thursday or Friday. I was like, it's ignoring history to not take BC plus 29.5 against the Irish. And that's what it was, because this game was ugly as shit. Notre Dame had no interest. It was in Boston. And yeah, BC lost. And there was some weird stuff that happened in the game, but they kept it close. And so Notre Dame wins another one. Texas Tech out-muscles K-State in the second half. Morton was back. Sets up the big one next week. Did you get eyes on this at all? I was a little disappointed with K-State's effort in this.
Yeah, K-State came out and played hard, but the offensive line for Texas Tech just kind of leans on you, and they're good enough at dialing up their plays in a way that they're just – it's a matter of time before they get an explosive rushing play. It's a matter of time before they get the 25-yard pass play to kind of set up the next 20-yard rush play. And they're kind of inevitable as an offense right now. And defensively, they didn't have their best game, but they kind of clamped down the second half. I think this is a really good win for Texas Tech. I thought it was a spot that they might mess up. System play, I took Kansas State money line. Kansas State got out to a 7-0 lead, and then it just felt like it – I mean, they just are kind of like a snowball rolling down a hill, Texas Tech. It's kind of wild to watch in the Big 12, actually. They got a big one coming up.
They sure do. West Virginia takes down Houston 45-35. Someone named Scotty Fox Jr. had a 95.2 QBR in this game for West Virginia.
So I was watching because, I didn't have ESPN games because of YouTube TV.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, man, and West Virginia was kind of crushing them in this game for a bit. And then Houston came back, and then West Virginia started scoring. Rich Rod's, that's going to be a good team next year. Like, the way they play really good offensive football, and it doesn't always have the best end result, but you can see how they're running their offense and their play calling and the way they can get guys out into space. It doesn't have the best results right now, but it does look like vintage Rich Rod, and he has a lot more years of having very, very good teams than he does not. Like, don't forget what he did at Jacksonville State as a coach only a few years ago.
Yep.
West Virginia is going to be a good football team coming up here.
West Virginia never trailed, and this is a game I talked about at the end of our Wednesday show, like noon start for Houston. They're feeling themselves. West Virginia was totally due to have a decent game. They were 15.5-point dogs. They won by 10. Like, God, this was a money line play. I was on the spread, but Houston hurts their chances at going to the Big 12 title game. USC rips Nebraska's heart out 21-17. King Miller went for 129, 7.2 yards per carry. And it was Nebraska had it. They didn't have it, but like they had a very good shot at it. And then Royola got hurt in the third quarter.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah.
He's out for a while.
Blackout led to a lot of black balloon popping, at least that I saw on social media by certain people. Rip Will Compton. He
this was
he's such a large media presence now. Like him and Brandon Walker, like they're so big when their teams lose. It's like they have like a day of mourning online. It's kind of funny.
Nebraska had a shot here in the second half. USC, I believe USC threw an interception at the beginning of the third quarter. Nebraska ends up fumbling it. And then USC ends up turning the ball over on downs. And then Nebraska misses a field goal. And it's like after that, USC scores on their next two drives to really kind of put this one in their favor. Nebraska probably should have won this game. They probably win it if Dylan Raiola stays healthy in this one. So that really sucks. At the same time, don't tell USC about injuries because they are one of the most beat up teams in the country. Yeah. And
I mean, King Miller was a walk on.
Yeah. I mean, Jaden Maeva was not good in this game at all. He was awful, but they won the gutsy win that nobody thought they could win. And just like with Miami, like maybe Miami will do the same thing to us late November and buck the trend. But this was a really good win for USC. I think it's going to be very tough for them to make the playoff. Very, very tough.
Yeah.
But this team's talent level is really eye-popping in some places.
Arizona State beat Iowa State in Ames with Jeff Sims as their quarterback. Leavitt was done for the year. We learned that last week. 24-19 was the final score. And Rocco Becht, he was pretty bad in this game. ASU ran for 290 yards on the Iowa State defense. Like, Matt Campbell's team just isn't very good. And it's on one side of it, it's Kenny Dillingham, and damn, he's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
To go into Ames with Jeff Sims as your starter and win, amazing. At the same time, the BYU game, some struggles early in the year, and now this, Iowa State, it's falling apart quickly here.
Arizona State's defense plays so hard and so fast. Like they hit like crazy. They play so fast. They're so relentless. They've been very good all year long. Iowa State looks sleepy and tired and slow. And it's when you lose two NFL guys at wide receiver, you're probably going to take an offensive step back. And I think it's a lot to ask of this program to replenish high-level talent year over year. And they just weren't able to do it this year. Are they a bad team? No, I don't think they're a bad team, but they're certainly not very good. And you're starting to see that here. And I don't we talk about Ames is like a sneaky, really tough place to play. They lost 2 games in a row there that were kind of spot games for them to win. I don't know. I don't really know where they go. They have to find a way to reload some talent. And I don't know how competitive they are in the NIL space. And I think the teams around them in the Big 12, like BYU, Texas Tech, Arizona State, Houston has the number 2 quarterback in the country is going to Houston. Don't forget about that. West Virginia should be better under Rich Rod. The rest of the Big 12 seems to be getting better. And Iowa State seems to be kind of all right, how many down years in a row are you going to have?
I mean, they won the most games in program history last year. So
they did. And now they're can they do are we going to wait another 4 years until they
did lose the NFL guys, but Jordan Tyson, did he play?
No, Jordan Tyson didn't play either. This was a
no Leavitt, no Tyson. Scatterboo went to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Is Arizona State more talented than is Arizona State in its current form more talented than Iowa State?
Maybe not substantially, but right, yeah.
And they're on the road, and it's a damaging loss for Iowa State here. That was it's I don't know. Anyway, great win by Dillingham. Great win.
Great win. I think that's more of the story. Is that's a program win for Arizona State.
Absolutely, dude. I didn't think they could, after all they're dealing with, to go get that win is super.
They are alive in the Big 12.
They are
because they have that win over Texas Tech.
All right, let's talk about the G6.
Let's talk about the G6.
When I hear the term G6, I can't help but think of the song.
Popping bottles and
but like whoever comes out of the G6 and makes the playoff, they need to do a hype video with that song. Fly like a G6.
College kids know about that song?
Probably not. And the best part about it wasn't even like a real plane, right? Like the G5 was the plane. Like when the song came out, it was Fly Like a G6. Like it's still not a real plane.
Look, I mean, I think it would be if you're one of our younger listeners, let us know if you know the song Fly Like a G6. Is that Cobra Starship? I don't think.
I believe so.
Is that Cobra Starship? No, it's Far East Movement.
Who was Cobra Starship?
Starship is
one of those ones.
Yeah, Cobra Starship is the same genre of an era of pop music as Cobra Starship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those were the days. But anyway, I think I heard it at the gym the other day, and I was just like, Fly Like a G6. Man, Tulane needs to get a hype video, or Memphis needs to get a hype video with that going on.
Tulane.
Maybe not Tulane. Yeah, we'll talk about them in 1 second. Both Boise and UNLV went down in the Mountain West this past weekend.
Max Matson carted off.
Yeah.
That really sucks for Boise State.
Nevertheless, we could still end up with a Boise-San Diego State championship game. Because
we'll talk about San Diego State. In my stock up, stock down. Stay tuned.
The way the standings are shaking out. UTSA, that's what's going to come up with Tulane, because they were playing in that weird dome out in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on UTSA plus 3.5. I didn't feel good about it, but some of my favorite podcasters were on it. They felt confident, and I was like, you know what? Weird things happen in that filthy, filthy dome. I went with it. And I'll be damned if UTSA didn't beat Tulane 48-26. Like, they dominated them. They crushed them.
Jake Retzloff was bad enough that I thought they should bench him if they wanted to win that game, and they didn't bench him. He was horrific. He cost them 2 touchdowns early in that game, and it was just downhill from there. UTSA, we need to. It'll be interesting when I run the home field advantage numbers this offseason. They're pretty high up there already. They haven't lost a home conference game since COVID.
It's such an advantage playing in that weird place.
It really is. And man, oh man, that's just such a bad loss for Tulane. I understand UTSA is a decently talented team, and Owen McCowan has been a college quarterback for 8 years now.
Owen McCowan, 370, 4 touchdowns.
He's good. He's good. You can't, if you have aspirations to compete at the college football playoff, you can't be losing those games.
No.
And that was just a really bad performance. I thought Retzloff looked really bad. I thought defensively Tulane looked bad.
And 2 weeks ago, Sam, too.
They looked good.
No. Tulane, they should have lost to Army.
Oh, that was the Army game. Okay, 2 weeks ago was the Army game.
Because was there a game in between?
Yes.
I feel like they were on a bye
it was the game before Army. They looked really good.
No, they I mean, they've had a great season, but when they don't have it, boy, do they not have it. And they haven't looked good in several weeks now. And so they've got a huge game this weekend. Memphis moved to 8-1 after beating Rice. That's the game this weekend, right? Tulane is going to Memphis.
Yeah, I think that's a huge game. It depends on which Jake Retzloff shows up for Tulane. Like, if that guy shows up, Memphis is going to roll him. And I'm a little bit worried about Tulane.
Yeah, Tulane at Memphis. Memphis 5.5 point favorites.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Tulane defensively. They just haven't looked super locked in every single game. And I don't believe they have a very good rush defense. No, they do not have a good rush defense. So that's not a good sign.
Are you ready to talk about UConn?
I'm so pumped up to talk about UConn football.
You have never been more pumped. UConn beats UAB, the team that beat Memphis, to move to 6-3 is the UConn Huskies. And they've got a player.
Ooh, let's talk about him.
Playing wide receiver. What's his name? What's he doing?
Skylar Bell. Skylar Bell is on Triple Crown watch. Like a legitimate Triple Crown watch. But if you don't know what that is, that's a wide receiver leading the country in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. I'm going to pull up the actual, I'm going to go to ESPN here and I'm going to pull up the actual wide receiver stats because I want to be able to read them off. But he is second in the country in receiving yards. He is first in touchdowns with 11. He has 994 yards, and he is first in the country in receptions. So he leads second place by 6 in receptions. He leads second place by 1 touchdown. There's 3 guys tied with 10 touchdowns. And he is only in second place in yards by 91 yards. And he is second to Danny Scudero from San Jose State. I don't know. I couldn't find how many Triple Crown guys there have been. It's kind of more of a thing for NFL when you have guys like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. But that would be a substantial achievement for Skylar Bell in UConn Huskies.
It would be a major accomplishment. Who's the guy throwing him the ball? I'm sorry, did he say that?
Joey Fagnano.
Yeah.
He is putting together just a sensational season. He has over 2,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Was that one of the guys you texted the stats about last night?
I mean, the guy is just playing absolutely phenomenal, and he's had some good rushing games. He rushed. Let me pull up his rushing stats, but he ran for 64 yards against Buffalo, ran for 25 and a touchdown against Boston College. Got sacked a few times in this game, but I mean, he's playing just phenomenal. He's completing almost 69% of his passes. He's getting explosive. Every single game, he's had a throw of 25 or more yards. So he's like throwing the ball downfield as well. Just a phenomenal year for the senior from Williamsport, PA, home of the Little League World Series.
Very nice.
And he also has an NFL, he's 6'4", 220, big arm, accurate. He's going to be a combine guy. He's going to pop in Indianapolis.
The next Joe Flacco coming from a smaller school and just
I don't know. I think I'm trying to think of a guy who might be like, he was kind of come out of nowhere as a quarterback.
You know who came out of process nowhere? Romo was one.
Well, Tony Romo definitely was one. I mean, he's more profile than that, but he's going to surprise some people.
I'm trying to think of a comp, but I can't right now. All right. Army took out Air Force. Thank you for the update on UConn, Sam. This was one of the, what do they call it? Commander-in-Chief trophy. Mm-hmm. They took them down 20-17. This was a close game. I actually was thinking I was on Army, but it was dicey. This was a dicey game, as they usually are. North Texas beat Navy. And so this was one of the ones I liked Navy in this one because option teams against air raid, there's usually issues. No issues for North Texas in this one. They hand Navy their first loss. And then Temple, who was 3-1 in the American, gets absolutely crushed by ECU. Did not see that one coming. 45-14, Temple goes down in Philly. So in the American standings, we have 6 teams with 1 loss. 6. Now, not all of them played the same amount of games, but Navy, Memphis, North Texas, Tulane, USF, and ECU all have 1 loss in the American standings. So we'll learn some more this week.
Fortunately, most of those teams play each other in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the Memphis-Tulane game alone is gonna shake something out. So the Sun Belt looks like JMU's to lose. They crushed Texas State. Had another monster second half. Chesney is tremendous with these halftime adjustments. He's quickly skyrocketing up my coaching board if we make it that far. 5-0 are the Dukes in Sun Belt play. However, Southern Miss still undefeated on the other side of the conference in the West, one of the few conferences or the only conference that still has divisions. They're 4-0. And Southern Miss has Arkansas State this weekend. So Arkansas State's pretty good. For JMU, a trip to Marshall awaits.
It's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Marshall fumbled the game away against Coastal Carolina. I believe they had 4 straight turnovers in that second half.
Marshall's been they've been improving, but still doing the dumb fuck type shit. And so I don't know if they're going to be good enough, but hey, you got JMU at home. This is your chance for a big win, Tony Gibson. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, I mean, JMU has at Marshall, who's 4-4 on the year. Then they have hosting App State, who is only 4-4 on the year as well. Then they have Washington State in a non-conference game at home in Harrisonburg. And then they travel to Coastal. If Coastal wins out, then that game would be for a spot in the Sun Belt title.
Coastal's been improving. They were terrible early in the year. They've been better. Kennesaw and Jacksonville State still undefeated in Conference USA. We'll get into more of all that on next week's episode. Quick rundown of the ACC, and then we'll do playoffs. UNC and Belichick get their first win at Syracuse. Q's had 3 points on offense. They are so terrible right now. If Fran Brown didn't have the year he just had, it might be different up there, but he did. He was good last year, and they lost their quarterback. UVA won and covered versus Cal. Oh, man. So them winning the game doesn't bother me as much as the final defensive touchdown that gave them the cover. That's what killed me.
I will say one thing. Yes, they're a lucky football team in many cases. I also give them a ton of credit because every single mistake the other team makes has turned into 7 points for them.
Yep.
Every single one.
It's crazy how much they capitalize on other teams' mistakes. So UVA, big win over Cal on the road. Duke wins in Death Valley. Talked a little bit about it earlier, 46-45. They scored a touchdown, Duke did, at the end of the game after a very controversial pass interference call. So it looked like Duke did offensive pass interference. The announcers were saying that looked like offensive pass interference. It's none other than Pete Hedgepeth making the call. He calls defensive pass interference. And I was like, I think they literally got the call reversed. And Robert, who's tuned into Clemson because of his family ties, was like, well, it kind of looked like the Duke guy was being held. And as soon as he made a motion, the Clemson guy flopped. And I think Robert was right because when I rewatched it, that's kind of what I saw. So they might have gotten the call correct. Nevertheless, it was a critical call and the referees felt the need to throw a flag. And then Duke got the first down. They scored a touchdown. They went for 2 and the dagger and they won the game.
I mean, are we going to be sitting here on November, the Sunday after Thanksgiving? Is Dabo Swinney going to still be the head coach of Clemson?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, I can't imagine.
I don't think they do it.
It would change.
I don't think they do
huge. He's won national championships.
I don't think they do it, but
they look dead and stinking.
They need a come to Jesus moment at New Spring, and they need to be passing around the offering plate.
Because the way Dabo's talking right now, too, it sounds like a man who's grasping for straws. It's not so much of it's a bad year. It's we're going to get back to the way we like to play football, whatever. He's saying we're going to win more championships. And it's okay, I get it. You're confident in who you are and what you've done. You gotta read the room a little bit here, man. And you gotta say it's just not going good, and I don't know what to do.
Is this a loser goes home game in the Palmetto Bowl between South Carolina and Clemson? For all intents and purposes, maybe not this year. I think both of those guys are coaching at their respective schools next year. I do.
I think so. I think they are. I don't listen. The Clemson they would not only have to lose every remaining game, including. So that's the thing. Coastal's on their schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they on? Are they on Shane's?
No. They're on Shane's schedule.
Who does
Clemson plays. I'm gonna guess they
Clemson
play
has Florida State.
Furman or something.
All right, so let's put it this way: Clemson loses
Furman,
out.
yep.
Furman. All right, they're not going to lose to Furman. Well,
they're going to lose to Florida State.
they might. Florida
Are they
State's
going to
not good either.
lose at Louisville?
Like, yeah, they're going to lose to Louisville.
Are they going to lose at South Carolina?
See,
I mean,
South Carolina and Florida State and Clemson are like the same team.
4-8 is like really in the picture here.
Well, do you think Clemson needs to win 3 or 4 to go to a bowl?
Yeah, I don't think they do that.
You don't think they're going to a bowl?
No. I mean,
I think they could.
Who's their best win on the season? Is it North Carolina on the road? Because their wins right now are Troy, North Carolina, and Boston College. Every time they've played a team with
Troy
a pulse,
might be their best win, man.
They've lost. And they haven't lost particularly close. Like, I know that Duke game was close, but they lost by 11 to SMU. They lost by 13 to Syracuse. Yeah. Like,
they're not.
It's been a long time. Like, man, they might be worse than us.
Jesus.
They might be.
They might be. It would be interesting. I want to see what happens with them against Florida State because I think they could win the Florida State game. It's a rivalry game. Like, Florida State, I know they crushed Wake, but like, what does that mean? Wake's good. I know, but Florida State was ready. Like, Florida State just won the first ACC game in like almost 2 years. So, like, it's not like they're any great shakes. So I want to see what happens there. If they get the Florida State win, I think they can go bowling. But like, that's what we're talking about with Clemson right now. We're talking about maybe not going to a bowl. And Florida and South Carolina, they're not eliminated from the bowl yet, but they're about to be. You're muted. Hold on.
Boo me. Me.
You got yeah.
If you're watching
I
on YouTube,
gotta get a soundboard for that.
I've had to like clear my throat like 8 times in the past 5 minutes. So I've been trying to keep muted. Is it bad enough that you can just chalk it up to a bad year? Like, is it bad enough that you can just crumble up the paper and throw it away and say we start 0?
I think so. I mean, I think
it would be worse. I think
it's shocking
around the program would be worse if they were like 8-4 or 9-3 again. I honestly do. I think it would be like, man, Dabo's really lost a step. Like, he doesn't have these guys playing. I think this year you can just chalk it up to like, shit, that didn't work.
It just
and move on.
Bad chemistry, whatever it was.
Yep.
And
they must not have gone to Crater Lake.
They didn't. See, that's why we're better than Clemson.
They even have a lake like
we
on
went to
campus, and they didn't go to the lake. That's step one.
Let's finish talking about the ACC. We already mentioned Florida State smacking Wake 42-7 to get off the schneid. 4 sacks for FSU. Pitt. This was a game where I thought Stanford had a shot. I thought they might be able to get Pitt in kind of a soft spot. Nope. Heinzel balled again. They win 35-20. And Pitt is going to have an effect on the ACC race throughout the rest of this year. They've got 3 very interesting games left, but they're playing really good football, man. They're 5-0 in their last 5 games.
I'm just embracing the wild of the ACC at this point. I'm not fighting it.
Don't fight it. It's not like Godfrey said, it's not coastal chaos. It's just the coastal has infected every part of the ACC at this point. Top QBRs of the weekend: Julian Sayin, number 1, Jaden Maeva, number 2, Mendoza, number 3. By the way, I saw Fernando Mendoza as projected as the number 1 overall.
Wait, Jaden Maeva had the number 2? How? Whoa, I
QBR stat. Look it up.
I don't doubt you. This is me yelling at ESPN.
I copied and pasted the top 10 from ESPN.
Dude, they gave him a 72.5. Why'd they do that?
Did I get the week wrong? Or is
Hold up. Let me see this real quick.
Because if you go to QBR and then you go to the week, you can sort by the week of the season.
Yeah. Total. No. Come on, ESPN. Play nice with me. Weekly leaders. Yeah. Week 10. Yeah, it's CJ Bailey is number 2.
Who's 3?
Fernando Mendoza.
Who's 4?
Scotty Fox Jr. 5. Owen
I
McCown.
must have pulled the wrong data. All right, so
Okay.
give me the top 8.
Number 1, Julian. I love how Julian's saying still number 1. Julian's saying number 1. Number 2, CJ Bailey of NC State. Number 3, Fernando Mendoza of Indiana. Number 4, Scotty Fox of West Virginia. Number 5, Owen McCown of UTSA. 6, Alonzo Barnett III of JMU. Ethan Vasco of Liberty. Arch Manning of Texas. CJ Carr of Notre Dame. And Brendan Lewis of Memphis. Do you want to see what who last place was?
Who's last place?
For funsies, last place, Aiden. No, that's actually we have more. Joseph Filardi of Syracuse.
Poor Joseph.
He didn't really play many snaps, but Kyron Drones, 68.
No.
That's what it says at 45.
Oh, 68th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, better,
not 68 QBR, 40. Yeah.
Better than Lenora Sellers, Rocco Becht, Brendan Sorsey, Blake Horvath, Jaron Kiowea, Sungapula Tele. Hang the banner. What if I told you that Kyron Drones would have a better QBR than all of those guys when Tech played Louisville? Tech would have a 2-score lead at halftime?
Where was Bryce Underwood? Because the memes about Bryce Underwood were going out of control.
Bryce Underwood's 65th.
So just ahead of Kyron.
Bryce Underwood this year, 1,600 yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, the number 55 QBR.
How many touchdowns?
A 7.
Oh, that's not good.
7. That's only 7. That's like
that's really not good.
Yeah, I mean, this guy.
Have you seen the memes?
Was he good?
Are you familiar with the memes?
I am. Yeah, I am.
But they start with like a stat of his, and then they're like, "We've never seen a freshman like this." They all end that way.
In his last 2 games against the 2 bottom teams in the Big Ten, Michigan State and Purdue, he is 21 of 39, no touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yikes!
When was this guy good?
I mean, he's a freshman.
And was he or was he not playing 15 and 16-year-old high school kids?
He looked good early on. There were some like flashes, and they're like, "Oh, but he's young. He's gonna get better." And he's struggling. I mean,
he looked good against Washington, but that's not a very good defense.
It's a good win though. They're a ranked team.
This guy.
What's that's from a movie. Like this guy, I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
Yeah, bring the infield
that's from
in
Super Troopers.
We'll see.
Are you ready to do playoffs?
Let's do playoffs, man. Let's round it out with playoffs. Am I going to
go first? Because you go first. You always go first. Here we go. I've got 4 SEC teams, same as last week. Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss. 3 Big Ten teams, the same ones. Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana. And then in the ACC, I have reduced from 2 to 1 because we suck again. I'm going with Georgia Tech. This is not the most confident pick out here. I could have gone with Louisville. I think Louisville might be the best team in the conference. They already beat Miami. SMU might have a shot to get to the championship game. If they get there, it could be them. Could be UVA. But right now, I'm going with Haynes King. He played really well. They had a clunker. It is what it is. If Georgia Tech's in the championship game, I still think I trust them more than almost any other team. And so I'm going with them. 1 team from the ACC. From the Big 12, I've got 2 because I don't have 5 from the SEC because I think the Texas-Oklahoma 3-loss thing, if you get an 11-1 BYU, an 11-1 Texas Tech playing in the championship game, which is very possible. Both those teams are going to the playoff. Notre Dame finishes 10-2, which I think is likely. They're in. That's why they're in there. And then Memphis, still my G5 representative, although it's going to be a rocky road in the American the last couple of weeks. I do think the committee wants to put in 5 SEC teams, but
I think
like
so too.
this is the best projection I can do right now, and it's so much of a challenge because even USC has an outside shot of getting in here, and I'm not so sure. Like Oregon's got to go to Iowa this week, man.
Yeah, it feels like we haven't heard from Oregon in a while,
Yeah,
and so
they
that's
got
a big
Iowa
question mark. Yeah.
and USC on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll the USC Oregon thing will sift its way out. But let's put Sam's up.
Yeah, mine's very similar to yours. I think the difference is I have Texas instead of BYU. And the reason I have that is because I think BYU will lose to Texas Tech on the road. And then they still have to play TCU on the road. It's a decent TCU team.
Yep.
And I think if you have a case in which BYU goes 11-2 and their 2 losses are to Texas Tech, I think they would get left out for a SEC team. I do. Because if you look at what their impressive wins are, they would really at that point only have one. And that's against Utah by 3 points at home.
You are right.
I think
BYU
Texas's resume would be better.
Does not have impressive wins.
Yeah, and it would be tough because at that point, like if you beat TCU, like that's another loss for TCU. And it's kind of funny how we do that in college football. Like, oh, this team, like they've only beaten teams with this and this record. Yeah, because all those teams had to play this team who beat them all, right? But
I will say this about BYU though. If they go 11-1, they lose to Texas Tech, they still have to play Cincinnati, which is a ranked team or was, and maybe they won't finish that way, but like that's a decent win. And if you're talking 11-1 regular season versus a 9-3 regular season for Texas,
yeah, that is true.
Like that's 2 more wins. Like that's it changes the math on like if it's 1 more, then it's different.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think the winner of that BYU Texas Tech game takes the Big 12 spot. Yeah, I think would be solely there. Texas still has to play Georgia. Texas still has to play Texas A&M.
Yeah,
and
I
like
mean,
you
Texas
talked about,
could lose 2
work
more
its way out.
Yeah.
I think, and also Georgia has to play Georgia Tech. So I think all of that will work its way out. And this is somehow, some way, all doing great for Notre Dame, who started the season 0-2.
Right.
Like this is somehow all making its way towards Notre Dame winning 10 consecutive games. And that USC win, big for Notre Dame, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's doing the lion's
Texas
share.
A&M still keeps rolling. Like I think that throws the wrench into it, which we always knew with this playoff and the system they chose, is that Notre Dame was always going to throw a wrench into this, and they do right now.
If Notre Dame loses to Pitt, like then this gets really fun because then you're talking about like could the
Notre
SEC
Dame loses to Pitt, they're out.
Yeah,
Notre
they're
Dame
done.
has to run the table.
Yeah, Notre Dame has to run the table. So that what I'm saying is it opens up like, okay, are we talking 2 each for the ACC and Big 12? Are we talking 5 and then 1 and 2? Like, are we talking the Big 10 getting 4?
What
like
it does is I think it opens up the path for the ACC to have 2, because then potentially Miami would have another good win at Pittsburgh. And if Miami has wins against Notre Dame, Florida, South Florida, and a win against Pittsburgh on the road,
and they'd have the Notre Dame win, but like, and even if Notre Dame is like, you're raising the profile of the Pitt potential win by reducing the Notre Dame a little bit, but I think it becomes an extra quality win, so it's actually a net positive for Miami.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
But like Miami, like, are they going to win at Pittsburgh?
I don't think so, but maybe. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's going to be wild. The G5 stuff like that.
We're going to destroy Miami's case in Blacksburg anyway.
That would be so funny. Like it would be so funny if Virginia Tech beats Miami and then beats UVA. That would be hilarious. It doesn't make a bowl game.
The way the season's setting up, regardless of Miami or anything else, like UVA is going to have 8-9 wins, and we're going to have 3-4. Like it is setting up for us to just blow up their spot, like kick them out of the ACC championship game. Like that is what I'm living for right now.
Let's get to some. We kind of covered stock up, stock down already.
Oh,
In our last
we
stuff,
did miss
we
that.
did.
That's
I mean, my stock up Texas, San Diego State, JMU, because I think San Diego State and JMU would not be surprised if one of those teams sneaks in to that playoff spot.
San Diego State.
I really wouldn't be surprised if they use any sort of advanced metrics. San Diego State and JMU are both top 10 across the board in those things. Watch out for those two teams if the American cannibalize itself. Stock down is pretty easy for me. Miami, Georgia Tech, and Vanderbilt. All three of them either fell out or took a major step down in the playoff series.
My stock downs were GT, like you said, Tennessee and Houston.
Yep. Makes sense.
Up, I had North Texas. Did you say North Texas?
I did not say North Texas, but I think that's a good one.
And Utah too, because
man,
they're kicking ass. Week 11 games. There are only 2 ranked on ranked games. It's not the best slate, but there is potential. So we've got A&M at Mizzou. Mizzou 7.5 point underdogs. BYU at Texas Tech. BYU is, Texas Tech favored 10.5. You know when time this game is, Sam? BYU at Texas Tech?
9:30 a.m. in the morning. Mountain time.
Eastern. It's a crime. It's a crime. Why is this at noon?
It's so bad.
Oregon at Iowa. A lot of potential here. Iowa only 5.5.
Although I will say the drinking habits of people in Lubbock, Texas are probably very different than that of Salt Lake City. I have no worries about Texas Tech being
a lot of
crowd being loud.
A lot of Lone Star getting taken down at 9 a.m.
No, they seem like a brown liquor type.
Shinerbach or Shiner. Yeah, Shiner. My cousin is in San Antonio right now. And he was saying, he's like, I can't wait to get that Shiner Cheer, which is their Christmas thing. He's on tap. It's one of my it's a great Christmas beer, the Shiner Cheer. But he's out there right now. Wake at UVA is another game that has potential. I mentioned Oregon at Iowa, potential. Wake at UVA, potential. UVA's favored of 6.5. Georgia at Mississippi State. That has some potential for a little bit of fun underdog action.
Mississippi State's been so close.
They've been so close,
dude. They got to do it.
LSU at Bama, always a good one. No doubt about potential, but Bama is home, and they are favored by 11.5. So I hope LSU with the new coach, you get that little bump, the interim bump. We'll see there. And then you got Tulane at Memphis. Memphis 5.5 point favorites. Title game implications, potentially playoff implications. Huge game. Other ones outside that have my attention. I know one on here has got Sam all over it. UTSA at USF. USF, big favorites. Navy at Notre Dame. Fun game. Notre Dame 25.5 point favorites over.
Notre Dame tends to dominate these games.
They have crushed Navy a bunch, yeah. But this one, Sam, San Diego State at Hawaii.
Man, Hawaii's been good. But I think San Diego State's defense has been pretty impeccable. It'll be a really fun game.
Hawaii 5.5 point dogs at home. And then finally JMU at Marshall. Marshall 12.5 point dogs at home. Kind of like Marshall with the points, although those second half.
I might fight you and take JMU.
I mean, I'm not. No call, no bet. I'm just like,
I'll be
that. The JMU adjustments scare the crap out of me because they just come out of halftime and they kill you.
I haven't been very good on my tarmac bets, which are bets that I make once I land at LaGuardia and I can bet on Virginia teams. And when I land at LaGuardia Friday evening, I think JMU minus 12.5 might be a tarmac bet for me.
Oh, okay.
Don't even hey, just landed. Hey, I'll be there. For open up DraftKings, JMU minus 12.5, lock it, load it, 1 unit, boom. Then, hey, sweetie, I've landed.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
I feel like Gibson's got them playing a little bit better, though a little sloppy.
Yep.
Anyway, we got to cut this thing off. That was fun. We did a lot on VT Corner, Franklin, and whatever. We've got no update. It's 10:13 now, but this was a fun. Someone just texted. Is this a joke? The Thamel bomb? Is this a
Don't do
joke?
that. No, it's not. He's not going to tweet at 10:13 p.m. I literally just closed out of X.
This can't be true.
It can't be true.
We've gotten 2.
I'm too tired for this to happen. I need to go to bed soon.
People are fucking with us.
Yeah. I'm just going to go to bed. And
I'm going to check because Don Hubbard's putting the sirens in the feed like a
you
jerk.
know good and well both of our phones would be exploding right
Yeah,
now.
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Thamel. Hey, go ahead and the safety word will be James Franklin to Virginia Tech. Everybody just put James Franklin to Virginia Tech in the comments.
Yeah, we're going to will it to happen.
Blasted. It'll also probably really help the algorithm. So that
yeah, we're going to will it to happen by the algorithm. So James Franklin to Virginia Tech. You can use the number 2, or you can say two. Just spell it out, TWL, whatever you want. But James Franklin 2VT in the comments if you made it to the end of the show. We thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribed on the YouTube channel, on 2D, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Thanks for letting us stay a couple more minutes just to check to make sure you sons of bitches. And until next time, go Hokies.
Go Hokies.